Hey everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus, both here on Twitch and later on the YouTubes with some Grixis Death Shadow. This particular variant is a little bit more akin to Delver than maybe the Death Shadow decks we were used to traditionally. You know, the decks that had Street Wraith and Gurmag Angler and such. This deck tends to be a little bit more on the aggressive side, with Death Shadow kind of taking the place of a Delver of Secrets-esque threat. This deck is obviously trying to leverage Lurrus the Dream Den, which is probably the most consistently powerful companion you can be having. Obviously, Yorion can buy you a ton of value, etc. But beyond that, you're kind of doing the Death Shadow things, your Thought Seizing, your Fetch Shocking, your life total down as much as you can. Try to present a reasonable Death Shadow on turn 2 or turn 3, ideally. A little bit harder in a world where you can't run Street Wraith in your deck because of Lurrus, but that's where a little Sprite Dragon comes in. This is a threat that can come down on turn 2 after you've Thought Seize or Inquisition away their answer and really build a quick threat, especially in combination with things like Mishra's Baubles, Thought Seizes, Unearths, etc. Deck is splitting Inquisition, Thought Seize, plus Stubborn Denial, so you do have that package going for you. Sprite Dragon can quickly hit 4 power, so drawback's not quite as bad. Then this version is running Dreadhorde Arcanist as opposed to something like Snapcaster Mage. It's a little bit less mana intensive, plus it plays better with the kind of Lightning Bolt, Thought Seize, Inquisition game plan, Serum Visions game plan sometimes than some Snapcaster Mages do, which often you have to run things like Opt and such. So this is a version that's a little bit more tempo-y. You're trying to morph, get your opponent dead. There's kind of been a split in the camps of the Lurrus variants of Death Shadow. You have some where you're basically trying to get your opponent dead, like this version with Death Shadow, Sprite, Dreadhorde Arcanist, and then there are versions that are like Croxa and Snapcaster Mage. They're a little bit more of a kind of grindy mid-range value game. A little bit slower to get to the end of the game, but they take more advantage of Lurrus's grinding power than, where this deck's trying to like leverage Lurrus as like a secondary thing once they answer your initial wave. Beyond that, you have the Mishra's Bauble package with your Lurrus the Dream Dens, some Dismembers to pair with your Fatal Pushes, Bolts, and one of Seal of Fire, and then that's pretty much it. Cheeky one of Teamer Battle Rage to get the game over against things like Tron and such, Storm, etc. Sideboard, you have a very large smattering of things. 3 Collective Brutality. This is definitely respecting Burn along with Inquisition. Cling to Dust is a neat little card. This allows you to have another kind of answer to Graveyard Hate, etc., but also still have something over here that can gain you some life in a pinch. Beyond that, you have one of Spell Snare and matches where that's good. So, things like Death and Taxes, any type of Stoneforge Mystic decks, etc. One of Ether Gust against any type of red or green deck. So, Burn's kind of a huge thing right now. Disdainful Stroke when you're facing off against any type of Yorion or Niv or Tron deck. Another Teamer Battle Rage when you need to close out the game a little bit quicker. Lurrus because Lurrus is a beast. Drown in the Lock when you need another removal spell and you're not too afraid of the graveyards being attacked. A couple copies of Kulagon's Command when you need to grind a little bit harder against something like Jund and such. One copy of Nihil Spellbomb because Incidental Graveyard Hate's pretty good in this format. And then one of Engineered Explosives when you need to answer random permanents up to 3 CMC or less. Is just a nice catch-all to be able to get back with Lurrus and such. So a lot of this deck plays off the synergies of Lurrus. A lot of it is playing up to... Oh, right. Constructed... I have the play points. I do have the play points. Curious. Modern League. Why are you not accepting... Oh, because it wants me to select a deck first. What is going on here? Oh, we're currently sitting on 58 cards. What are we missing? I love it sometimes when you bring decks into... I have not seen it yet either, Walrus, so we'll see how this goes. I love it when you transfer decks into Magic Online, sometimes it likes to randomly leave cards out, and then you're left trying to figure out exactly which cards they didn't transfer in. So 10 creatures, 18 lands. It's got the Serum Visions. 2 copies of Unearth. No, those are in here. Yield Sleight of Hand. It's like one of those cards that doesn't like to train in. Because, like, you know, got to make things exciting, you know, trying to play a league, and it's like, oh, not enough cards in my deck, that's why. Thank you, Magic Online, for the quality piece of software that you are. So how are you this evening, Walrus? We're on the draw, which is unfortunate, but unlike, say, a deck like Burn, this is a deck that can kind of recover from being on the draw. So, and oftentimes our threats aren't coming down on turn 1. Yeah, that's... 5 lands and a Death Shadow. I'm pretty sure this is a mulligan, right? Especially against another Lurrus deck. Yeah, this is a mulligan. Yeah, neither of the stream times are ideal, but the 11:31 is after work for me, so I'm a little... Now this hand has the opposite problem. I have, like, a bunch of great cards, but my basic swamp in hand. Do I keep this hand and hope against a Lurrus deck that Fatal Push and Dismember get me there? I don't think so. I think that hand's just too awkward. This one I can at least kind of gamble and keep. Put back Denial and Fatal Push, I guess. Dismember could be good or bad depending on if we're against Burn or if we're against some other variant of Lurrus here. Oh, we're up against Burn. Cool. Oh. Okay, then. Sure, I'll take the 4 damage. So, gonna bobble them since it really doesn't do us any good to bobble ourselves right now. Lightning Bolt on top, Shocker. Lurrus versus Lurrus. Helix, Eidolon, Riftbolt. So... Eidolon is the most threatening, but we have Dismember to answer it. That would put us to 8. I still think we're supposed to take Eidolon here. Because answering that would put us to 8, and I just don't think that's palatable here. Lurrus is definitely going to get banned in some format. I don't think it's going to be Modern, but I think it might get banned in Legacy. I can't... The problem with leaving Death Shadow in play is just the fact that, yeah, we could play Death Shadow into it, but then if they kill our Death Shadow, then we're in some trouble. So, so fetch shock, go to 11. Go to 9, go to 6. Alternatively, I could... Definitely going to 11 here. I think I have to risk going to 9. Maybe to 7. Definitely want the blue source. This really sucks because it means they get to double spell and kill Death Shadow if they want to. Or they're just going to bolt us and, you know, do the thing. Alright, what you got, friend? Bolt that we knew about, put us to 6. And then if they draw any bolt spell here, we're dead next turn. That's a risk, because they've got a lot of them. I guess I could, there's a couple different alternative lines I could have taken. I could have just gotten basic island or cast Thoughtseize, taken a little bit slower this turn. Did you rip the burn spell? Come on, don't slow roll me, bro. Did you hit it? Alright, they're going to 7. GG! Now we can breathe. So, against Burn, we're interested in the Inquisition. We're interested in the brutalities. Cling to Dust has some applications. Ether Gust is fine. I don't know about plowing through Burn. We that was more like cross your fingers and am I dead? Probably want Spell Snare. Probably get these Dismembers out of here. The question is, like, how much... Probably Shaven Unearth. Do we just get all the Thoughtseizes out of here? Like, Thoughtseize is certainly a card that we might not want here. Especially on the draw. Alright. The only other cards we might potentially want are EE, Drown in the Lock, and basically our kill spells. But I think I'm fine taking Thoughtseize out because that's a card that it can save us damage, but I don't know. A lot of it depends on how educated our burn player is about this matchup. Yeah, I have the 1 TBR. I don't know that we want to go with 2. Especially on the draw, it's a lot harder to race. I think you want the second TBR on the play because you're better in a racing situation. I think on the draw, you're more incentivized to be... See, like, this is a hand that Death Shadow is kind of a control finisher. So, like, I can go Inquisition on 1, Arcanist on 2, potentially, or depending on how they line up, Inquisition on 1, Brutality on 2. This hand's definitely a keep. Harkenist isn't great, but you can't really afford to board down threats. Because it's slow in the same vein that Snapcaster Mage is slow in a lot of these spots. Like, it's something that's incidental that you kind of need to close out. Yeah, we draw the second one. Is there any card that we could draw that would incentivize me? For those, Miguel is my friend that streams a lot. Walrus Shelf has been around a few times. Dreadbore is our resident smart aleck. He's a transplant from the YouTube channel, so he is our colorful character of the channel, so to speak. Okay. Yeah, I think I want to cling to dust, so I'm going to cast Inquisition, take my lumps. Miguel, can you answer a question for me? So, I am constantly seeing people leave in Searing Blaze against Death Shadow, Jund, etc. In your experience, is that a normal thing for Burn to be doing? Like, I absolutely leave a boar leaving in. So, Brutality ain't gonna kill anything here, unfortunately. His Dread Arcanists are just kind of going to rot in our hand. I think this might just be Grab Swamp and... No, I'm not saying it doesn't have targets. I'm simply saying... I don't know. Is it Blood Crypt? Blood Crypt would put us to 13. I think I go ahead and grab Blood Crypt here. Go ahead and use Collective Brutality. I'm only going to use 2 modes because there's no way we're actually killing this Swift Spear this turn. So... I don't know that it's better than Lava Spike. Maybe I could see it being better than Skewer. I don't know if it's better than Lava Spike. Maybe I'm just like predisposed to certain things. So we're gonna need a Boros Charm here. This is why I didn't escalate trying to hit Swizzle Spear. I think I just take Bolt here, right? Because we're not going to present them with a target for Blaze until we're ready to. Gotcha. There's another Brutality. I think I'm just going to run out 2 Death Shadows here. Like, Death Shadow is one of those really hard to play against cards. Because, like, Searing Blaze, just by the nature of the card, can't kill them. And if they're bolting my Death Shadows, I think I'm fine with that exchange. So I think I want to incentivize my opponent to use their Searing Blaze here. All right. So we actually have the possibility that both of our Death Shadows could get gunned down by burn spells here. It's one of the downsides of this, like, particular... Yep, and we're going to eat at least 3 damage this turn. And they have Lurrus in the yard, which is annoying, obviously. I don't know that I agree with them sacking here. Obviously, this turns on any searing effects they might have. But what's their alternative play? Play Cling to Dust and hold up Stubborn Denial? Or hold up Aether Gust? Death Shadows placed in the meta is far more variable than Burns is. And quite frankly, Death Shadow takes a lot more thinking. Opponent with lots of lands. Why don't they attack? That makes no sense whatsoever. Inquisition will force some action. Do I want to put that back on top of their deck? So if I go to 4 here, I don't think I want that back on top of their deck, so I think I'm okay with taking 4. They should have let me cast the Inquisition first, but, you know, whatevs. Actually, casting Lurrus is no... Huh. So if I cast Lurrus, they have 1 turn to draw a burn spell. Which, obviously, they have a pretty decent chance. Probably about 40%. I still think that's my play. We're going to know immediately whether we, well, we're kind of going to live to know if we regret this decision. So. Am I dead? Am I dead? Am I dead? Looks like you drew a blank. The problem with 4 spiking is with 4 mana, there's no singular spell we can 4 spike. Like, the only line was, do I gust there and put it back on top of their deck and kind of replay the same turn the next turn and not get Lurrus down? Because Lurrus is like my end game there. And like if I untap with Lurrus, they're dead. Because Death Shadow plus Stubborn Denial is going to answer anything they could have top decked outside of Path. And clearly they didn't have Path either, or Lurrus would have been dead either. That was... weren't we discussing that earlier during your stream, Miguel? About how I really didn't want to run into Burn twice tonight. Run the draw here. Looks like our opponent may have a companion as well. Hey, another Lurrus mirror. Shocker. This hand's pretty decent. It's a fairly decent Death Shadow hand. with a couple of interactive spells and an unearth, so I think I'm good here. Obviously, it depends on what variant of. Well, we still don't know what variant of whatchamacallit you are. So lean on Delta. They could be Burn with a slower start, but they could also be Jund. They fetch to pay for it. No, because I don't think they would have fetched away the Boros charm. So I see what you're saying, but looks like we're up against Junde. Yep. Against Ren and 6. So the problem with this matchup is, especially being the more tempo-oriented version, our threats don't hold up quite as well. Oh. Well then. Am I okay with this being gunned down by Ren and 6? I think so. Especially since we have the Unearth. Oh, they're going to waste a Seal of Fire on it. I'm perfectly fine with that. Croxa. So now we just get to do it all this turn, right? So do I want to expose that to bolt? I think I'm okay with that being bolted. Actually, I guess it can't be bolted. So start by casting Unearth on Sprite Dragon. Obviously, our opponent gets to go Lurrus plus Seal of Fire to potentially kill this, but if that's all their next turn is, I think I'm fine with that. Maelstrom Pulse, sure. Alright, War Dog, get some sleep, man. Trigger me this, Batman. I think I'm good with Bobble. think I want both of those cards potentially. I just missed a point of damage unnecessarily. So if they don't, if all they do is bring back Kroxa, they're just dead next turn. Feels like they're digging for an answer here. Sure. So Bob's just gonna die. We already know what we're drawing. Problem is, the value of these cards all went down with whatchamacallit? So draw step, we know they're drawing E. Lightning bolt next turn. Maybe we'll be lucky and they don't have an answer this turn. Maybe. Okay, there's the catacombs. Fatal push. Unearth Kroxa. I think we ditched the bolt here. So going to 5 doesn't have any ramifications. Your hand's just 2 lands. Put it back. Death Shadow. Okay, Lurrus. Bring back Seal of Fire. Oh no, Lurrus, bring back Croxa. Hmm? What are they bringing back? Dark Confidant? I am completely confused about what's going on over there right now. I am completely confused about their line of play there. There's a lot of things I could do. I think I swing with Death Shadow. So if I Sprite Dragon... Okay, I could play Seal of Fire, kill the Lurrus, swing with Death Shadow. I have to block with Bob on Death Shadow, or they're just dead. But then if I swing with Lurrus, my life total grows. So I could, alternatively, I can cast Sprite Dragon, Seal of Fire. Could cast Serum Visions, but I think Serum Visions is just too big of a gamble right now. It's just supposed to be Seal of Fire, trigger this, kill your Lurrus, swing these guys, force you to chump block. Even if you bring back Croxa next turn, you're still dead? This forces this block here. You take 2, go to 4. And then even with a Croxa, you need like Croxa trigger Bolt to win. Whoever says these Lurrus mirrors aren't intensive is obviously crazy. So probably a Temur Battle Rage out matchup, because this is very much a grindy matchup. Ether Gust in. Spell Snare probably in. Cling to Dust is fine. Drown and Lock. Nihil Spell Bomb, probably a matchup for that. Probably a matchup for EE. Probably a matchup for Cool Guns commands. Cards that we're probably not interested in. These Inquisitions are a little suspect. Miguel, are you still in chat? Where do you fall on the discard spell and the kind of grindy matchups? I'm not a huge... I prefer to do better off the top, but different people have different things, I guess. Question is... do we shave some bolts? Don't think bolt's great, although we are definitely the aggressive deck. Maybe I'm just supposed to go down all my bolts, because they really only kill Bob, and we have, what, Fatal Pushes. Guess we can't afford to go down all of them. It's just like a sleight of hand out matchup. Go with that. Like, I want to leave Thought Seizes in, even though I don't like discard spells, just because, obviously, I need to grow Death Shadow. Hand's a mulligan, unfortunately. It's a great Solitaire or a great Hearthstone hand, but not good in... this hand isn't great in the face of... everything, but I think we're still going to keep it. It's functional in terms of hands. Yeah, I left a couple of bolts in. It's kind of like... Okay, I got nothing. I got nothing. I got a big old nothing on that one. Opponent's up a card, got a Mishra's Bauble, they concede. Okay. Be on the play this time. So, Lurrus Mirror. You know, I went from not playing any Lurrus Mirrors to like 3 of them, so... maybe this is just the late night bracket. Would normally use Bauble here, but I want to pair it with Sprite next turn, so this is very much a... try to clear the way kind of hand. Alright! So, I don't care about Memnite. I don't care about Ornithopter. I think this is a slow them down hand? Like, don't let them cast Lurrus on 2? Okay. Never thought I would ever thought seize a Springleaf Drum in my life, but here we are. Why would you play Spire of Industry? Sure, whatever. So I should have fetched Blood Crypt here. The reason being is if we draw our basic island, I'm going to be really sad that I didn't fetch a black source for my Lurrus down the line? They're drawing a Mishra's Bauble. Okay. Well, they're getting value off their, whatchamacallit, no matter what we do here. Okay. Memnite, sure. Sure. These are all cards we knew about. Dreadhorde Arcanist. So I could Serum Visions here looking for another land. I could just play Sprite Dragon and attack with these two. I could play Dreadhorde Arcanist, try to set up Thoughtseize for next turn, but their hand probably isn't going to have a whole lot. I think it's just Sprite Jam and get this game over with. Okay. So we still know these two cards are in their hand. So it looks like they're just going to cast Lurrus and play a Bauble. Sure. And they drew another Bauble. Okay. So the question is, which land do I actually cast the Serum Visions off of? I think it's off the Watery Grave, so I can still play Dreadhorde Arcanist potentially this turn. So I think I'm supposed to cast Arcanist here and try to go to town. Like, I'm not sure, like, I'm really not sure what's going on with our opponent's deck, so I can't really be sure, and Arcanist is the most mana efficient play. Yeah, we have a Serum Visions on top of our deck, friend. You're drawing a whole lot of cards, but I don't know what your deck's trying to do to actually leverage them yet, so. Okay, you've got a ton of chump blockers. You've got a Welding Jar. All that glitters. Okay, now I understand. Do I play around Galvanic Blast here? I think is the only takeaway. So I think the only way we win this is next turn is if we Serum Visions into some type of removal spell. So I think I decline to block, and am I fine losing to Galvblast or Bolt? That's currently 10 damage they're presenting. I think I'm fine with that. Am I dead? Oh, yeah. I was dead regardless there, right? 7 plus 4. Yeah, I was dead regardless. So it really didn't matter what playline we took. And then we wouldn't have found the kill spell anyway. Artifacts, huh? Definitely interested in that. Definitely interested in those. Definitely engineer explosives. Spell Snare has some targets. I don't know if it's good though. Because you figure they have All That Glitters and maybe Cranial Plating, I guess, would be the cards that we're playing around here. Maybe Ravager. Could also be Steel Overseer deck. So I think Spell Snare earns its keep. Couple copies of Inquisition can probably go out. Probably Temur Battle Rage can probably go out. It's kind of a racing matchup, but also kind of not. Probably shade one copy of Unearth. Maybe one copy of Stub. Because they're not going to have a ton of or non-creature spells, but the ones they have are somewhat relevant. Definitely want to be on the play here. I think this hand's fine. We have got Sleight of Hand into Dragon, or just Hold Up Bolt into Sprite. Yeah, most likely. The only question is, what are we doing with this hand? I think this is just a play my land, pass hand. Like, the problem with traditional Affinity, which obviously doesn't exist anymore, is like traditional Affinity was very good at punking you out of nowhere or dealing burst damage more than like actual huge chunks of damage. I think we're going to go ahead and grab Steam Vents, I guess, and go ahead and bolt this. That way our Sprite can start pounding. Huh. Yeah, I still think we go with Sprite here. I think this card gets leveraged a lot better when we're Okay. Erayo. Alright. Are you really going to play enough spells to spin that? That is annoying. Wow. Been a minute since I've been Erayo'd. It has definitely been a minute since I've been Erayo'd. Ladies and gentlemen, only here on MTG Nexus can you watch your opponent flipping an Erayo on turn 2. Buddy, that's all, folks. Not really. Oh, here comes Lurrus Claws. Yay! Wait, what? Oh, never mind. This still allows them to cast Lurrus this turn. I was like, wait, why would you play that? Never mind. Definitely got to give our opponent props for their unique style of deck. I'm not sure how we're supposed to progress this turn. I think it's just pass. No, I think I actually want to incentivize my opponent to attack me next turn, so we go ahead and attack with Sprite Dragon. I don't want them. I actually actively want them attacking me next turn. So, because I need to get this Death Shadow in play for anything to matter. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. This is going to be my new streaming time, Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 1:30 a.m. Central or Eastern Standard Time. Playing some Grixis Delver, or basically Grixis Delver. It's Death Shadow instead of Delver with Sprite Dragon and Dreadhorde Arcanist. It's been an interesting ride so far. We have definitely seen some interesting decks. Burn, Jund, and now Erayo Affinity, apparently. Because who knew that was a thing? Alright. So he's casting a 1/1, sure. Dotsies. That has flying too. Okay. Because things. It's definitely another thing Spell Snare hits if we manage to go to game 3. What a nutty game. Sure, because opponent needs infinite blockers. Okay, Malt Scourge, sure. When your thought seizes, do nothing. Other than become fodder for red. So, like, our best bet would be, like, Bobble? Like, draw Bobble, cast Bobble. We attack with Sprite Dragon here. Once again, could be wrong to be doing this. Interesting. Erayo Affinity. Another Vault Scourge, sure. All that glitters is going to be brutal here. Yep. Yes, I know this doesn't work the way I want it to, but it does at least pump up the team. This thing is going to be freaking massive. Yep, it's a 9/9. Have to chump block. Casually get Ornithopter out of the graveyard. What else do you have? Sure. That was a weird one. Like, I think under normal circumstances, we're probably favored against them, but Erayo just being what it is just bizarre. I don't even know. That was definitely the weirdest matchup I've had with this deck so far. So how is everybody doing on this Friday night, Saturday morning, depending on where you are? Hand's pretty reasonable. We are on the draw, unfortunately. It's morning to 6. Hey, they don't have a companion. Shocker. It's the first non-Lurrus mirror we've played. Oh, humans. Okay. Cool. So I think I went to Inquisition here. Serum Vision's obviously a little bit awkward in the face of well then. Main deck Oriok champion. That's a beating. Rest of the hand's going to be pretty tough to beat, but main deck Oriok champion, that's just nasty. And then they rip the second land. Oh boy. Well, yep. And then in response, they get to trigger. Yep. So they'll end up with 2 3/3s at the end of this. Sorry, a 2/2 and a 3. Nope. 2 2/2s. Okay. So grab a Steam Vents here. Cast Mishra's Bauble, targeting them. The Cavern of Souls, that's not going to help them much. So I think I bolt Thalia's Lieutenant so they can only copy a champion in the parish here. But I guess we Serum Visions first. Okay. Definitely want that on top. Thoughtseize isn't going to hit anything this game, so I think we just bolt this. And then we know what their remaining cards are, so Needle push is nice. Yeah, just grab basic swamp here. If you want to copy that, I'm fine with that. Like, there's a lot of scary top decks with a Phantasmal Image in their hand, but Noble Hierarch is not one of them. Now, I'm not saying we can't potentially die to Noble Hierarch beats, but ooh, that's just plain nasty. No. Get that image out of your hand. I was like, wait a second there. Like, I just about got by playing Lurrus. Huh. Yeah, no. Nice try, though, opponent. Nice try. I think as much as I like Sprite Dragon, I don't think that's a card that I'm particularly interested in right now. Thalia, sure. Sprite Dragon's already lethal next turn with Dismember in hand, so no need to push it here. Alright, and got there game one. I think we can likely get away from all these things in our hand, all these stubborn denials. Do want to check Perish. If there's any interesting Dismembers or York Champions. We'll just take out those. Could bring in Spell Snare potentially. Could bring in Kolaghan's Commands. Engineered Explosives. These Stubborn Denials are garbage. Could bring in Temur Battle Rage. This feels a little bit like a Temur Battle Rage matchup, maybe in some numbers. Could bring in some number of collective brutalities as some more kill spells. Bring in 2 collective brutalities potentially. Draw and unlock over collective brutality. And then the rest of the cards are all just kind of possible minor upgrades. This hand's fine, a little bit on the awkward side, but okay, definitely feels like an Aether Vial hand. Yep. Death Shadow. Once again, I could hold Bauble for Sprite Dragon, but I think this is more of a I need to draw gas kind of hand. I think I'm fine topping a Serum Visions here. Obviously, we get punished if they have Thalia. But Thalia is kind of going to be punishing no matter what kind of hand we have. Alright, so grab a Steam Vents here, cast Serum Visions, do that. We definitely want Fatal Push. Guess we let them on top with that. Okay. Interesting. So that is a Mantis Rider. Sure. That's kind of annoying. I think I just dismember this guy. Because I don't even particularly care if you take on Earth here. Definitely better sequencing on their part by playing the freebooter first. No, we're drawing Fatal Push next turn, so I think our best thing is crack this for a Swamp, Fatal Push, and then cast Sprite, then Fatal Push. And Sprite might be back on defense for a turn. Simply because we're taking 3 here. I don't know that we can afford to exchange pleasantries with them. So the danger if I could just go Sprite into pass is in response to cracking my fetch land, I think we just play Sprite here, right? Play Sprite and pass. I just got to be mindful of this Ether Vial that they've, in response to doing something, that they can... I'm just supposed to do it now. Don't think I gain much in the way of bluffing here, because then that opens them up to having Phantasmal Image to copy Mantis Rider, which will be kind of disastrous right now. So I think I just go this route. Oh yeah. We're going to get destroyed there regardless. Alright, and we concede here. Is there a reason to bring in Ether Gust? I still don't think so. Cling to Dust, still doesn't feel great. Like, I'd love to go down some amount of the discard spells, but in the face of Auriok Champion, that's like our only answer, so I think I'm kind of fine with this. I'm fine with how we sideboarded, I just wish we would have had a little bit more removal in our hand, I suppose. Awkward hand. Still think it's a keep, but awkward. This basic swamp makes Sprite Dragon awkward. Okay, them only getting to 5 makes me feel a little bit better. Reflector Mage, Kite Sail Freebooter. I'm going to take the Freebooter. I think we get Steam Vents here. Inquisition first, see what their last card was. They got apparently another land. So, Serum Visions based on that information. Land plus bottle. I think I'm fine baiting out the Reflector Mage with a Sprite here. Red. General's obviously a little bit awkward. Presuming they're just going to Reflector Mage me here. Actually playing the General first. Okay. Guessing they're going to exercise. Yep, get rid of the bauble. Sure. Start by casting Serum Visions. Inquisition you. Alright, well, double Reflector Mage is a little rough. So yeah, if they don't tap out for Reflector Mage here, then they're just dead this turn. Yeah, they pretty much have to Reflector Mage this turn. So do I cast Lurrus this turn or use Kolaghan's Command? I feel like I just draw step Kolaghan's Command, take my hit for 2, and next turn we can untap with something else, I guess. I mean, yeah, they can crack this if it's a really good card, but apparently it's a really good card. Lieutenant, yeah, that's a pretty decent one. Alright, let's see what you got here. Warrior champion? Oh yeah. Okay, sure. So if they double block, they take 4, or they take 3 and then 6. Yeah, so they're dead regardless. So attack. Alright, so 3-1 so far. One more match to go tonight. I want to thank everybody for hanging out this evening. If you're new to the channel, please consider giving us a follow. If you like modern and pioneer content, don't forget to check out our YouTube page, or if you're already on YouTube page, check out some of our other stuff. We tend to play a lot of Jund and Burn on the channel, as well as a little bit of Pioneer now and again. And then we've been kind of playing a little bit of Grixis, Delver / Death Shadow variants. This definitely was an interesting build. I believe this particular deck list is by Michael Rupp in an article he wrote on cardkingdom.com. So if you want to check out his thoughts on Death Shadow and Death Shadow variants and such, this is the tempo version. He also has a kind of a more attrition-based version that he was a huge fan of. So don't forget to check out those. And one final match tonight, and we'll be on the play. Guess I'd like to play first. Didn't I just play? Yeah, I played this player the other day. They are on, I believe they were on some type of, oh, they're on a Yorion deck. Is this hand good enough against Yorion? Sure, since Yorion tends to be a little bit slow. Fetch, grab our other Watery Grave, wanting to keep our life total low for... Okay, we definitely want Thoughtseize. Fetch Shock, go to 14. Thoughtseize to 12. Shock next turn to 10. This is where not having Street Wraith on the deck's a little bit embarrassing. Definitely taking Emery here. Death Shadow. Pass turn. Astrolabe, play their island. Attack with Death Shadow. There was only a way to grow it by one more power this turn. Cast Arcanist, hold up. Stubborn Denial, really hoping to get a little bit lucky here. Okay. Sure. Soft stuff, get out of here. Is that lethal? Fetch shock down to 6, or fetch shock down to 7. What's that to 6? Nazis, yeah, I think they're dead unless they have force negation here. Never cast. Alright, well, let's start by going to combat first. So I can do all this in response. Cast Nazis. Down to 5. We are 3-1 in the final match against, looks like, Teamer Yorion. Definitely want Gust. Probably want Disdainful Stroke, Cling to Dust, Inquisition. You might want the second Teamer Battle Rage because the majority of their removal is red based. Probably want the K commands. Might want Drown the Lock and Spell Bomb. So their deck is primarily Gilded Goose, Emery. Yeah, I brought in the Spell Bomb. EE's kind of eh. Like, there's a lot of cards we can bring in here. I'm just not sure which ones are correct. Inquisition on the draw might be a tad slow. I don't know. Feels like we can shave a bolt or two. Feels like the slights can probably go. Maybe we only want one Battle Rage, although we really don't want the game to go particularly long. Shaven on Earth. Drown on the Lock is their graveyard, correct? So maybe I don't want Drown on the Lock. And might shave one Stubborn Denial here, because a good bit of their... Oh no, we definitely want answers to their counter magic. So, trying to think what's the last cut here. Maybe it's just supposed to be the other Teamer Battle Rage. And we didn't get to sideboard, so this is going to be fun. Went too long on the thinking process there. Okay, let's hope our main deck's good enough. Well, I mean, sure. EE is certainly a card that's going to have to be fought through. Position. Coatl, Galv Blast. Their Doomblades are creatures. Yay! Opponent's finally going to play their other Coatl. Sleight of hand. Force our opponent to Galv Blast here. Fatal Push and Steam Vents. I think of those two, I'm more interested in Fatal Push. Alright. It's their last hand and last card in hand's Scolding Tarn. So they're probably setting up to cast Yorion next turn. So I think I do this. Get back Bobble. See what they're drawing next turn. Uro's a little rough, but It's a problem for another day, I guess. Grab basic swamp. Fatal push this. So now we know at least their next 2 draws. Bolt's not terrible. Uro, sure. Do I even care about Goose here? Like, obviously they're going to get to bring back... So I didn't bring in any of my sideboard cards. I have nothing I can draw that will get that Uro gone. So... I think I have to attack with Lurrus for now, simply because... No, attacking with Lurrus wasn't right. It's one of the tensions between Death Shadow and such in this deck. Cast a Serum Visions. So we don't know what the card they drew this turn is. They're drawing Cryptic Command next turn. That's... Ugh. Attack with these guys. Opponent draws Cryptic Command. Go to 1 here. course, their one other draw was card we couldn't realistically beat. So Bobble. Alright, now let's try sideboarding this game. Not that we doubted what was already in their deck. Clean the Dust, Inquisition, Drone in the Lock, Kolgun's Commands, Spellbomb. Stroke's okay in some small spots. Snare doesn't really seem like it does a whole lot. Get rid of these. Get rid of one or two copies of Lightning Bolt. And then one copy of Unearth. Maybe one Dreadhorde Arcanist, because it doesn't feel like it's going to do a whole lot here. Alright. I think this hand's a keep. Turn 1 Serum Vision's looking for a second land. How interested am I in that Thoughtseize? Probably a lot. Definitely want the second land. They going Goose or they going... Yep, Goose is whatever. Problem is I don't think we can take the turn off to kill Goose here, so... They're just going to block. Yep. So... Cast Thoughtseize first. Urza, EE. Get a little bit lucky here. Yep. Sure. random. That's just Urza. Yep. +2, +2. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 4 damage. So they could crack the food to stay alive. We start by casting Thoughtseize. Their hand is Abundant Growth Urza. Up to 3, a virtual 6. Veil of Summer, sure. So I know their hand is currently Urza. Right, forgot to account for Yorion. Does that change the math? So they're drawing... Am I okay dying to Gallop Blast here? Because if they have... Okay, so they have Urza, Veil of Summer... And that Scalding Turn still in their hand, or is that an unknown? So if that Scalding Tarn is in their hand, then their hand right now is Urza, Scalding Tarn, Veil. If not, there's one unknown in their hand. I think we got to go for the kill here. Nice. That was an insane game. So quick thoughts on this deck. The more I play this card, the more I'm just like absurdly impressed by its utility, its power, everything it does. Death Shadow is a nice threat as a supplement. It's a little bit better than Delver. Don't know if Arcanist is better than Snapcaster Mage. That's a take it or leave it kind of thing. Beyond that, I mean, this deck pushes you to make decisions. It's a little bit of roll of the dice, hope you make the right decisions kind of things. So if you like those kind of decks, this is definitely the deck for you. Deck feels pretty clean, pretty powerful, able to grind in a lot of situations, able to close games out quickly with Sprite Dragons, able to turn the corner pretty quickly against some of the aggressive decks. It just can't beat a flipped Erayo. So, not much more to say than that. I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. If you're new to the channel, please consider giving us a follow. If you're checking this out over on the YouTube channel, please consider giving us a subscribe over there. And journeying on over to Twitch and giving us a follow. So we're aiming to get affiliate here shortly. And beyond that, I'll be streaming Monday through Friday from 11:30 until ? Usually around 1:32, however long it takes to finish whatever league or whatever we're working on here. So thank everybody for hanging out tonight. Miguel, War Dog, everybody else that was hanging out earlier. This has been John for MTG Nexus. See y'all next time.